everyone, let's get started on workbook pages 161 and 162. Today we're going to work on only the odd questions. So let's get started with number 1. Bryce says that 6/6 is less than 1 for the same sized whole. Is Bryce correct? Explain and draw to justify your answer. So because the question is asking us to draw, I am going to use my number line manipulative. So I am going to label my number line 0 to 1, and I am going to label my first fraction bar 1. Okay, because our number here is 1 whole. So this fraction bar on the bottom is going to represent 1 whole. I am then going to label my top fraction bar 6/6. So in order to do that, I need to draw 5 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you can see my whole cut into sixths. And then I need to shade 6/6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I should have shaded my 1 whole down here. So I'm gonna bring my camera down so you guys can see the whole thing. Okay, so here is my 1 whole, and here are my 6/6. So you can go ahead and pause the video for a second so that you can get your drawing done, and then we'll talk about what we notice. Okay, so the question says that 6/6 is less than 1 whole, but when I look at my 2 fraction strips, I notice that 6/6 is not less than 1 whole, and 6/6 is not greater than 1 whole. 6/6 and 1 whole are, that's right, they're equal. So to answer our question, is Bryce correct? On our lines, we are going to say Bryce is not correct. Okay, and then we're going to use the picture that we drew to explain why. So Bryce is not correct because we can compare 6/6 to 1 whole. So Bryce is not correct because 6/6 is what? To 1 whole. Okay, we know that 6/6 is not less than 1 whole. We know that 6/6 is not greater than 1 whole. We can tell that 6/6 is equal to 1 whole. Exactly. So in your circle, you need to write 6/6 is equal to 1 whole. All right, great job. Let's move on to number 3. So number 3 says, locate and draw a point on the number line for the fraction. Then write the equivalent fraction. So the first fraction we have here is 1/3. We want to look at our number line right here. Okay, and this should be 1. Oh, I'm sorry. This should be 0, and this should be 1. Okay, and we want to find 1/3 on our number line right here and label it. So go ahead and do that. Perfect, so you should have labeled 1/3 right here. Okay, then if I go back to the question, it says find the equivalent fraction. So to remind you of Mr. Terry's video early, equivalent means equal. That's right. So we're looking for a fraction that is equal to 1/3. And up here, it looks like they want us to divide our next fractions, or divide the whole into sixths. So I'm going to label 0/6, 1/6, 2/6, okay? And you can continue all the way down. So you should have 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and 6/6. Okay? So you want to find the fraction that's equivalent. So which fraction is equivalent to 1/3? That's right, it's 2/6. So you're going to fill it on the line. And friends, just a reminder, if I'm moving too quickly at any point, please pause the video to give yourself time to think and work on the answers yourself. Okay, we are going to take a look at number 5 together, which is similar to the problem that we just did. So it says, Nia draws 2 number lines, here and here. Each number line is divided into equal-sized sections. What point is marked on the first number line? So we have our 0 to our 1 whole, okay? And it looks like that if you cover up this part of the fraction, okay, you're looking at how many parts your whole is divided up into. So how many equal parts are there? There's 2, that's right. So the fraction that you need to label right here is 1/2. Good, it should be 1/2. Okay, and that's your question. What point is marked on the first number line? So you can go ahead and write 1/2 on the line. Great job. Then it says draw a point on the second number line to show a fraction equivalent to the fraction on the first number line. Now, before I do that, I need to label this number line, okay? This fraction up here was divided up into 2 equal parts. But how many equal parts do we have down here? Well, let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our 1 whole is divided into eighths. That's right. So up here, right, this is technically 0/8, 1/8, 2/8. Go ahead and label the whole rest of your number line. Okay, you should have 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and then 8/8 is equal to 1 whole. So our job over here is to draw a point on this number line that's going to show an equivalent fraction to 1/2. So what I do is I'm going to draw my tick lines. I'm going to move this 1/2 up here so it's not in my way. And I'm going to draw my tick lines down here to find the fraction that's equivalent. So the fraction that is equivalent to 1/2 is 4/8. Good. So they want you to fill this in over here. 1/2 is equal to 4/8. Okay, so we use the equal sign in the middle to tell that they're equivalent. All right, let's move on down to number 7. This says divide the shape into 4 equal parts. So when you divide your circle into 4 equal parts, you need to make sure, okay, that you're dividing your circle up and each of the parts is the same size. So you can maybe go up and down and left and right, or maybe do an X, okay, and you need 4 equal parts. And this says what unit fraction names each equal part of the shape. So remember, a unit fraction represents 1 part of all the equal parts of the whole. So that's a little tricky. So I can show you what I mean. So I'm going to divide my circle into 4 equal parts this way. The unit fraction tells what one of these parts is equal to. So if I shaded this part, what's that one part equal to? Great. So you want to write that fraction that represents this part on the line. Okay, friends, great job. Thanks for joining me. And again, if you want to work on the other even problems, that would be fantastic practice.